As I sit here from my $800 apartment, no AC, fan running, kids playing in the room right now, me being back and forth going to check on them, I get to watching these videos and I get to thinking, like, some of these people have no idea what being poor is. When I say some of these people, I mean specifically most of the people I see talking about why you're poor, or trying to tell people why other people are poor, or you're poor because of this reason, and doing these podcasts and these YouTube videos about it is, I kind of think, misleading in a way. Like, I think there's a serious misuse of the word poor going on right now. I feel like most of these people think that being poor is having no money. For them, it may be having no money, like $0 in your pocket, $0 in your checking account, but your savings account got money because you're not supposed to touch it. Like, I know people that literally look at being poor as having, let's say, $5,000 in your savings account and $0 in your checking account. They would consider themselves poor. But I don't think people really get the reality of what poor really is. And I'm not promoting it, I'm not glorifying it, I'm not trying to make it seem like it's better than what everybody says it is, but I want to kind of shed some light on the reality of being poor. Like, it's not having $0 in checkings and 5 to 10,000 in savings, even 2,000, even 1,000, even 500 in savings. It's not that. It's being at the bottom. It's having 0 in checkings, no savings, figuring out what you're going to do with everything. And okay, maybe not with everything, but with most things. Like, just because you don't have that resource, money's a resource and a tool. Most of the things they were saying actually were about money. So it's all about how to make money, right? We live in America. Everything runs off of money, currency, whatever, or skill, or whatever it is that you can do, bring to the table to trade with the next person here. I think when you're really poor, you stop kind of looking at it like that, because you kind of have to. Like, you kind of have to look at the moralistic standpoint of things. Like, is this person going to do this because I can't come up with this money right now? Or is this person going to give me this opportunity because I can't prove that I have this skill, meaning don't have the college backing, may have the skill, may have the education behind it, may know how to do it, but you don't have that backing on paperwork. It's a really tricky subject because people can argue a lot. People can say a lot. People can say, well, you should have went to school. People could say, well, you could get a job and work harder and work your way up from the bottom. But, like, when you're poor, I gotta stress this, like, there is so many obstacles. And I don't want to even say this because then people say, oh, there you go, you're trying to make the obstacle excuse. But let's say, starting from the bottom, right, and you want to work your way up to whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I use myself for an example. I use my situation for an example. Because I wouldn't consider myself poor right now. I consider myself unfortunate, or sometimes, like, I don't consider myself completely poor anymore. But before I started making money online, I didn't have a foundation. And because I didn't have a foundation, I had to kind of build a foundation, meaning, like, this $800 apartment right now is my foundation. At one point, I didn't have. So I ended up making, between me and my spouse, we ended up making a good amount of money online when we first got monetized about a year ago, which is how we got into this $800 apartment. And because we didn't have that foundation, most of the money that we made went into building our foundation. Like, and it is crazy because people will look at our foundation now and be like, you're still poor. People will be like, you don't work hard enough. That's why you live where you live. And it's all crazy to me because we work so hard to get monetized online. We work so hard through every obstacle that we had thrown at us to be able to make sure we're focused enough to work hard online, to make sure we don't get that out of our sight. Like, we want to do this, we want to be monetized online, we want to make money off of this, we want this to be our income. And then for people to still, and it's not really about the people, I'm just making it clear like what poor people really go through. Like, you're looking at somebody saying they're poor when they worked so hard to get this foundation that you're judging them by. And it's really backwards. Like, I really just think a lot of people in America specifically shouldn't be speaking on poor people in America. Now, there is a lot of people in America that just take advantage of it, and they don't really add to people that are poor and trying to do something with their life, or people that are poor and have morals. There's a difference between people that are poor and have morals and people that are poor and don't have the foundation that they need to be with everybody else that's not poor, I guess. Like, I don't really know like what people are getting at by saying this is why you're poor. Like, where do you want this person to be? Like me, like if I got money today, I kind of came up with this concept that rich and poor are the same thing, because once you're poor, you see things for what they are. And when you're rich, you have the access to access anything, giving you the eyes to see things for what they are. I mean, if you were born rich, you don't have the access to seeing poor, though, so I can see how people don't understand that. But that's a plus, I would say. If you become rich from being poor, I think you're probably one of the most well-rounded people if you have the morals for it. But there's people that mess that up too. It's a very, very broad topic, so I just wanted to come in and give my 2 cents on it, but there's more. So a lot of the things I hear these rich people or people with money, I don't even know if they're rich, but there's people with money online talking about poor people. I hear them bring up these 3 things in most of their videos. They're all saying it's your friends, it's your poor investments, and you're not working hard enough. I just gave a real life example of myself and my spouse working day in and day out to get our foundation. We have a foundation now, but we're not rich, and we still have basically living paycheck to paycheck. Like, we don't have money in the savings because we didn't have that foundation when we got this. Like, it's a process. So just like everything, really, everything's a process. Like, even now, I'm sitting here and I don't have the time that a lot of other people have because I don't have the resources. I have my kids here with me. Hi, Stat. You wanna come say hi? Yeah, I got my son here with me. And he's playing around right now, having a good time. You said hi? Oh, you're looking at the camera. But yeah, he's playing around right now, having a good time. And I have to go back and forth between that. And it's just another thing that people use as an excuse on both sides. Poor people, rich people, it doesn't really matter. Rich people say you shouldn't have kids. Poor people say, or poor people like to use their kids as an excuse, some poor people. And me, like, I'm sitting here recording a video. I had to decide whether it was worth it or not to record this video because I got to take care of my kids. But I made it work. Like, and this falls into that category of people saying you don't work hard enough. Like, how hard do you want to see me work? I'm working hard enough that I'm dividing my time between my children and my career. How hard do you want to see me work? Investments. We can talk about the investments now. Like I said, I use my story for an example. Like, this box that we live in was an investment to us because we were living day to day, kind of like we were living in the streets at one point. We were living in our car, and we had to go day by day. And I was like, okay, we need an apartment because we need to be sure that we can stack a certain amount of money up for the month, put it into something so that we have a shelter over our heads and we make those proper investments. But you got to understand, these people that are talking in these podcasts, they're not thinking like, oh wait, you got to invest in shelter, like this person has to invest in this and that and that, and people wonder where the money goes. And then bring up your friends. They say, show me who you are, or show me who you hang around and I'll show you who you are. Sometimes I wish I had friends, but you know, I'm poor. Like, some people don't even want to hang out with me because I'm poor. Like, so I really don't know where people get that from. Like, you can't have friends and, well, you can have friends and be poor. It's just a poor mindset. What else? I don't want to get too into like the obstacles things because I don't think people will understand that yet. Like, people say obstacles are excuses, and I see how some people use them as excuses, but they're real. They're very real for a lot of people. I would consider an obstacle, I think, yeah, obstacles should be considered, because I would consider an obstacle me not having a foundation, so that I had to use all the money I made offline. I'm still gonna make more money online, but now more of that money goes into this foundation of apartment that I have. Like, before, when I was living with somebody else, I could stack the money up, but guess what? I couldn't live with somebody else for the rest of my life. Like, and then what happens when your parents don't have that foundation either? Like, I genuinely don't think that people consider these things to be real things. Those are factors to be considered when you're talking about poor people and people that don't have as much as you. Their parents may not have as much as you either. They may not come from that background for a while, and they may be the person that's trying to change that dynamic, but you're calling them poor. You're putting them down. You're killing their confidence because you're telling them this is why you're staying poor, and they in fact probably already know it. And then, you know, a lot of poor people, from what I've learned and even just experienced myself, are just tired of, or they get tired of playing the game for money, or they get tired of playing the game in general, so they end up being called lazy. Like, they'll do things like, or they'll start to do things like going and gambling money because there's a chance that they could hit it big way quicker than they know they could going to a job. Like you said, starting from that bottom point, that's not really starting from that bottom point if you live this life. There's people that participate in crime because of the same reason. Why you think the crime rate's so high in poverty areas, underprivileged areas? This makes so much more sense, or it should make so much more sense. And then there's people that play the lottery. They don't do crime, they don't gamble. Well, lottery is technically gambling, but there's people that play the lottery and they want to look like a better person than a gambler or somebody that commits crime. And they know if they hit this lottery, it cuts the time that they have to work hard in half. I don't know. I'm kind of fed up with people misusing the word poor. Like, I don't think it helps poor people out. So I'll just say, if you're gonna use the word poor, please use it in the right context. Please do your research, educate yourself, and go live a day in the life of a poor person. And if you want to, you can watch my channel and I'll show you a day in the life of a poor person. So that's really all I had to say. It wasn't too in-depth. I wrote stuff down, but I'll actually spread that out throughout my channel, because literally my channel's a reflection of this stuff. My son's laughing because what I'm saying is so real.